Hi everyone, I'm Jecelyn. So today I will talk about what's new in Chrome DevTools. Okay, a little bit about myself. So just now Ben have introduced me. I'm the developer advocate for Chrome DevTools. So my hobbies is diving. Hope some of you who are watching now are also a diver. But unfortunately, this hobby needs to be paused for a while because of the COVID. So I hope everyone is still safe at home, doing well. So at the meantime, my new hobby is to plant some vegetable at home. So this is the mushroom that I planted recently. So it's flourish, and I actually use that mushroom to cook the spaghetti. So this is the carbonara spaghetti. If you can spot, because I only have like 3 or 4 mushrooms that grown up, so you can see that there's only a little bit of mushroom in this spaghetti, but I was quite happy. So during the COVID time, just try to keep yourself happy and energized when you're working at home. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump into Chrome DevTools. A little bit about Chrome DevTools. It is a web application. It is built with HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, if you haven't know it already. And for every 6 weeks, we'll release new features. So every 6 weeks, I will have a new blog post and new video talking about what's news in that release. So if you want to know more, we also have a Twitter account, so you can follow us on Chrome DevTools Twitter account. Okay. So today I will talk about 3 new features in Chrome 88. Actually, in Chrome 88, we have more new features for Chrome DevTools. But for today, I will just highlight 3 of the features. And then I would focus the other time to talk about the 5 new experimental features that you probably should try it out. Okay, let's start. So the first new features in Chrome DevTools 88 is the CSS angle visualizations tools. So on the image here, you can see that wherever things that is involve angle, now when you click on it, we will show angle visualization tools for you to adjust the angle. Let me demo it. So now on the screen, let's say I have this background with gradient color. So these are my CSS code. So you can see that there's a 52 degree here. Degree means there's something that we can do the angle rotations. So let's pull out our DevTools. And then in here, you can see that there's an angle icon showing up. Just click on that. And then you can see the clock showing up. Then you can just drag to whatever position that you want to change the gradient and to view the changes live. So it's more convenient. Previously, we don't show anything. So you need to basically just type and then just guess it, whether the color rotation is right or not. But now you can just drag it. It's much easier. And if you want to rotate, because sometimes you might not want to use degree, you might want to use turns or the other measurement. So just click on your keyboard, click on Shift button, and then just click on the icon. See, we can help you to change the measurement, unit of measurement. So you can change to turn, grad, and rad. So you can just change it. And then there are actually others keyboard and mouse shortcut that you can use as well. So for example, we actually have a documentations to talk about all the shortcuts, but I will just demo you a few of the shortcuts. So for example, if you want to increase and decrease an angle value by 10, you can click on Shift and then use the arrow up or arrow down button, or just scroll on your mouse to increase it by 10. So let's say here, let me just change it back to degree. So let's say now it's 53 degree. So I just click it up, click here. So if I click on the Shift button and I scroll down or scroll up, every time it will increase by 10 degree. Or if you want to increase by 15 degree, then you just click on the Shift button and then just snap on any place of your on the screen. Just click on it and then it will increase by 15 degree at once or decrease. So there are a few shortcut keys to help you change the value easier. So remember to try it out for the CSS angle. The next new features is to emulate unsupported image type. So let's say, so what are the unsupported image type? So for example, we have a picture on screen. So due to the performance reason, sometimes we want to use image format like ARIF or WebP instead of PNG, because ARIF and WebP tends to give you smaller file sizes. Okay, so in order to use that, but not all the browsers support ARIF and WebP, for example, you would like to be able to fall back. So for the browser that support ARIF or WebP, you tend to want to use them. But for the browser that doesn't support it, you want to fall back to PNG. So how we achieve this in in HTML is by using the picture tag. So picture is the image container. And then you have the source and source set to ARIF. If the browser support ARIF, we will load that. Else we'll load WebP, or if the browser doesn't support this, we'll fall back to PNG. Okay, so now the browser have in Chrome already support ARIF and WebP in the latest version of Chrome, but for other browser it might not. How can Chrome DevTools help you to test these features? So let me open that. So let's open this image. We inspect this image. And you can see that, let me zoom in. So if you hover to the image, hover to the source, you can see that the current source on the tooltips, the current source mentioned that the current source is actually ARIF. So the image on screen currently showing is ARIF format. But as a web developer, when we do the development, we want to test whether we have the WebP image correctly or whether our PNG image is will be show up correctly. So in order to do that, Chrome DevTools gives you a new features to emulate the missing type of image. So let's pull out the rendering panel. You can just go to here, more options, just run the command and then type rendering to pull up the rendering tab. So in this tab, just scroll down. Here you can see that we added two new options. One is to disable the ARIF image format. The other one is to disable the WebP image format. Let us try to take on disable ARIF image format, and then we reload the page. So once we reload, let's click on the screen again, and then look at the source. So in the current source now, you see that the current image that is loaded on screen is WebP. So by doing this, you don't need to switch to other browser that doesn't support ARIF to test your features. You can actually test that in the same browser that you are doing the development. So let's disable WebP again. So now since I disable ARIF and WebP image format, the current source later on when we load, it should be PNG. So let's refresh the page. And then click on the image again, hover to that, and check the current source. So you see that there's nothing show up, means that the current source is actually PNG. If you want to be sure that this is a PNG or the image format, you can also right click, open the image in new tab so that you can see the image format. Okay, or you just disable that and refresh again, right click, open in new tab, and then you can see that the image format is ARIF. Okay, go try it out. And if you want to know more about ARIF format, you can check out my colleague blog post. So she actually do a lot of experiment, tell you how much of the performance, how much of the file size can be saved if you are using ARIF format. Okay, the next feature I want to talk about is the Core Web Vital. So Core Web Vital is an initiative by Google to help you deliver great experience to the user. So we provide 3 core Web Vitals metrics for you to measure your site loading performance. The first one is LCP, largest contentful pane, which measure the perceived loading performance of the primary content of your page. So let's say you have a page with your primary content. You should make sure that the primary content show up in light speed so that the user can immediately look at the content and start browsing your products and your content. So the other one is CLS, visuals. So CLS is cumulative layout shift, is to measure the visual stability of your site. So let's say you have an image to show up. So if your image show up, sometimes when you refresh the page, user might see the text first before the image show up, and then suddenly your layout will shift, and then the user will have a blink, and then the image show up. So these are some of the not so good practice, because when the user look at the content actually shift. So instead of doing that, you can actually leave enough space for the image to load, and then load the content right on the position that there should be. So CLS help you to measure that and then give you some suggestions to how you can improve that. And FID is first input delay. It measures the interactivity of your page. Okay, so we have these new metrics built into the Lighthouse in the Chrome DevTools. Let's just open one of the page. Let's say we open web.dev, for example. And then let's inspect the page, pull out the Lighthouse, and let's generate a report. Okay, now you see that we have, so obviously this page have quite a good score. So let's scroll down, look at the detail here. So you can see that the largest contentful pane is 4 seconds, so it's not too good, but it's not too bad. And the cumulative layout shift is to measure the, like we mentioned just now, is to measure the layout shift. And the total blocking time, so in Lighthouse, we actually did not show you the FID, first input delay, because the first input delay, you need real live data to show it. So for Lighthouse, we are measuring the lab data, but you can use total blocking time because total blocking time is a sum of all the time period between FCP, first contentful pane, and the time to interactive. So you can use this. So this is the TBT, is the proxy for first input delay. You can use that to measure your site interactivity in these lab settings. Okay, but the new thing that I want to tell you is, because the core web vitals in Lighthouse were already added in since Chrome 85, but the new things is in the performance tab. When you measure your page performance using the performance tab, we actually add in something new. So let me just refresh the page and record a performance trace. Okay, so in here, what we have added in this new Chrome 88 is the Web Vital checkbox. So when you click on that and enable that, here we show a Web Vital streamline, so that you can see when is the first contentful pane of your page, and then when is the CLS happens. Let me just zoom in. Okay, and when is the LCP, the largest contentful pane, happen. So you can look at this event and then to debug your web performance. So these are the 3 new features in Chrome 88 that I would like to highlight to you. So if you want to learn more about the core web vitals and how can you improve your website core web vitals, go to this link, web.dev/vital, to learn more about how to improve the your interactivity of your page. Okay, next I would like to talk about some of the experiments that we're currently experimenting in Chrome DevTools. Okay, so the first one is Flexbox debugging tool. So in order to enable the Flexbox debugging tool, you need to go to the so just let's open this page. So in order to enable that, you need to go to the setting and then go to the experiment tab. And then here, scroll down. You need to enable the CSS Flexbox debugging feature and then reload because I already enabled that, but if you haven't, you need to reload the page in order for the experiment to go in. So let's say I uncheck and I check again. So in DevTools, we'll pop up a reload DevTools button. So just click and then refresh. Then on your page here, wherever if it's a Flexbox, so for example, in this navigation tab, it's actually using Flexbox because it displays flex. Then you will see a donor, a badge showing up here. Click on it. And then you can go to the layout tab. And then we'll show you some of the all the Flexbox that's overlay that on this page. But on this page, we only have one Flexbox. That's why you only see one. But if in this page there are multiple, we'll just list down for you. So the good thing about this, because we just start to experimenting this. So let's say here, we say display is flex, and we say justify content is space between. So what does space between means? So let's say now I'm typing space between. So you can see that there's a new icon telling you visually how exactly what is space between means, the space between that. So these icons are new to help you visualize what are the changes if you are changing to different type of properties. So let's just put back space between. And then let's say now I change the flex direction, because in Flexbox, we can change the direction from row. So currently my direction is a row. So let's say I want to change it to column. So means that my title, my page title, and the button will be shown in 2 rows. When I change to that, so let's say if I now go back to the justify content, and then I change again, let's say put space around or space between, you can see that the icon actually changed as well. So means that these properties, this icon are context aware, because we'll read whether your flex direction is a row or is a column, and then we'll display the icon accordingly so that you can visualize correctly as well. So let's say I change to space evenly, or I change to space around. Yeah, but in this case, you can't see much difference, but the icon will show you that. So you can try it out. And actually in Chrome 87, we also add in a grid debugging features, but I won't talk about it in this talk. But I have another talk that you can attend later to learn more about the grid debugging tool. Okay, the next new experiment that we are currently experimenting is the customized keyboard shortcut. There's a lot of users mentioned that they want to customize the keyboard shortcut in Chrome DevTools because they have their favorite command. For example, you click Command S to save, or you want to change it to others command to save or to edit or to refresh your Chrome DevTools. You can actually do that now. So in the settings, enable the experiment, scroll down. So you see that these experiments are particularly unstable, enable at your own risk. So yeah, so because we are currently experimenting that, so if you enable that, if there's something not working, please file us a bug, then we will enhance that, or you can just disable that. So let's say we enable that and we refresh the page. And if you want to customize your shortcut, go back to the setting, go to the shortcut here. You can see that there's a new pen icon here. Click on that. You can change the shortcut. So let's click on that. So for example, currently, if you want to clear your console, the shortcut is Control L or Command K. So let's edit that. We can change it. Let's say we want to change it to Command D, for example. So later on, when we want to clear our console, we want to use Command D. Or if you want to, we support multiple key chord as well. So for example, you mentioned that you want to clear the console with Shift hash and Control S. Oh, sorry. So you need to type it fast enough. So Shift hash and Command hash. So if you want to do this, so we support multiple key chord. So when you press on these two commands together, then we can also refresh that. So let's save that. So we'll test that. So let's go to the console tab and we will type Command D to clear the console. Let's go to the console. Type in something here. And now if I click Command D, you can see that the console is clear. But you can't see me typing the command on my keyboard now. But you can try it yourself. The next one is the CSS overview. Actually, CSS overview is a new panel that we add in last year, but it's not very well known. But throughout the new Chrome DevTools release, we actually add in more and more features in the CSS overview panel. There's one particular features I would like to highlight in the CSS overview panel. So let's go to, for example, go to this page. Go to the setting page, and then in the experiment tab, enable the CSS overview and reload DevTools. So now if you go to your CSS overview, when you click capture overview, will basically give you an overview on all your CSS. For example, how many elements do you have on the page, or what are the colors on that is using on the current page. So you can see that now it will show you like 5 background color I'm using in this page, and how many text colors you are using in this page. The new features that we are adding in is this contrast issues. So for example, this text, for people like us with for some of us, for example me, as normal visions, when I look at this text, it might look okay to me, but actually these are the text that has very low color contrast. So if you want to fix that, previously you might need to hover and then click on each of that to know whether this, just to click on the color and to see that whether the contrast ratio is good or is low contrast. So, but it's very hard for you to go through each one and then to detect that problem. So in CSS overview now, when you run the CSS overview, we will just show you all the color contrast issue on the page. And then when you click on it, for example, we'll show you what are the elements that actually have that problem. If you click on that element, we'll bring you to the element tab, focus on the element. Then you can change the style of the element. So let's click on that. And in Chrome 87, we actually added in the new features, which is when you scroll down, we'll click on the contrast, expand the contrast ratio section. Here, when the color contrast is bad, we'll show you a suggestion, suggested color. When you click on it, see the color is automatically fixed for you. Or you want to change it to AAA color contrast, just click on it and the color will be changed for you. Then you can copy the value and change it in your code. Go try it out. Okay, the next new features I would like to talk about is the Advanced Perceptual Contrast Algorithm, APCA. So what is APCA? So APCA is the new algorithm to measure a new metrics to measure the color contrast. So color contrast and the contrast can be extremely context dependent. To accurately predict the contrast perceptions, we need 3 informations: spatial, which is the font weights and font size. So for example, when the font size is bigger or the font is slightly bolder, it might be easier for you to view the text. So the other things is the color, definitely. So if the color background is light color, normally we don't use the font color in the same light color. And the context can influence the contrast perceptions as well. For example, the lights, the surrounding, and the intent purpose of the text also can influence the color contrast. So previously in DevTools, we are showing you AA and AAA. So this is the current metrics to measure the color contrast. So if you enable the APCA setting, click here, go to the experiment, select this enable new advanced perceptual contrast ratio algorithm. So we'll replace AA and AAA guideline with APCA. So let's click that, close it, and reload the DevTools. So click on that, click on the color. Now you see that instead of showing you AA and AAA guideline, we are showing you the APCA guideline. So if you want to learn more about the color contrast, you can click on this link and open this tab to learn more about the color and contrast accessibility. Oh, sorry. So the difference between AA and AAA guideline and APCA is APCA also take into consideration for the font weight and sizes, which AA and AAA guideline doesn't. Okay, the next and the last exciting thing I would like to talk to you about is the Puppeteer recorder. So imagine that when you want to test a page, Puppeteer, so just for an introduction, Puppeteer is a Node.js API to help you create tests, automated tests for your browser and for your website. So anything that you can do manually in Chrome in Chrome, you can do that with Puppeteer. So let me show you an example here. Go to the setting, experiment, enable the recorder. So this is a Puppeteer recording features, and reload the DevTools. So let's say we just navigate to, say, one of these page. So in this page, later on, I probably want to have an automated test to test about when I click on the this button, the page should actually change to dark mode. And when I enable that, it should change it back to the light mode. And when I navigate to the other link, it should actually go to the correct link that is show up. So these are some of the tests the test engineer or we as a developer, we might want to automate this test to make sure that our website perform correctly. So let's go to the source panel here. We can use Puppeteer recorder to do that. So let me just clear the recorder first. Okay, let me create a new recording. So in here, you can click add recording, and then I would just put test1.js. That's that. So after I create the file, I can click start recording, and I can record the step when I perform this this action. Later on, I can replay that. So for example, let's just start recording here. And you can see that the recorder actually help you to generate the Puppeteer code, the JavaScript code that help to do the testing. So now let's click on the toggle to toggle the page to dark mode. So just click on that. You can see that this recorder will help you pick the you pick the correct selector, and then record the action. And then let's say I just click on this link to go to one of my presentation. Just click on that, and Puppeteer will say that, oh, just click on the deck that have June 03, 200, because these are the code will automatically pick one of the selector that is most unique in the page, and then just click on that, and then it will click on the image toggle again. So now let's say I just stop the recording, then it would just go to browser close. So these are the code that Puppeteer help you, the recorder help you to automatically generate, but you can edit that. So let's say you want to do some assertion to make sure that this page, the page actually going to the right URL. So I can check that when I console.log, let's await page.url. So if later on when we rerun this script, we should be ending up in this jack.fis/deck, my journey as a text presenter. So when I run this test again, when I console.log, this should show this URL. So let's save this page in, I have a folder here. Let's save it to the recording as test1. So let's save that. So when you save it, you can go to your command line and then go to the page. So let me just zoom that in, cd code. recording. Okay, then I can just click Node and then run my test1.js. So you will run the script that I created just now, and it will display the URL. So it's basically the same URL as this one, but for your you can utilize this feature to create your own test and to record it. But this make it much easier for you to automate your test and then just generate those template code that you need to continue to work on to create your test. So just go and try it out. Okay, and I would like to mention that Chrome DevTools is Chrome Dev Summit is coming, so it's on December 9 to 10. If you would like to attend that, just go to this URL, go.go/CDS 2020 to sign up. We have a lot of very interesting talk in the conference, so please join us. And if you would like to learn more about Chrome DevTools, how we create a certain features, we actually have an engineering blog to talk about that. So go to this go.go/devtools-blog link to know more about how we build Chrome DevTools. And last, follow us on Chrome DevTools Twitter, or follow my Twitter, Jecelyn Yeen. And if you would like to view our YouTube, go to our YouTube channel, watch some of the what's new in DevTools video. Just go to this link and then sign it up. That's all. Thank you.